So if you've got questions or anything throughout the year while you're working on this project, then you can email us and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Um, so first off, yeah, we're really delighted to be working with your schools. As Joanne said, your schools are obviously amazing. I know you're all on your 10th, 11th, or 12th flag renewal, so it's really amazing to have you guys still with us. And we really hope that you just enjoy working on this project and that it is kind of a chance for you to just I don't know, maybe relax a little bit into the Green Skills project, and that it's hopefully more fun and maybe a little bit less effortful, I suppose, maybe than some of the themes. Um, I want to say first off that it really doesn't matter where you're located to take part in this project. You're going to see lots of pictures of the beach now when I go through my slides, but it's very much aimed at all schools all over the country. So even if you're not a coastal school, or you really just don't really see how the marine environment is that relevant to you, I promise you that it is, and I really hope that you'll enjoy taking part in the Seakeepers project. So first off, what is the project about? So the Seakeepers project it's an optional module of the Global Citizenship Marine Environment theme, that schools working on that theme are able to sign up to. But we've decided to run it with you guys this year, and we'll be running it slightly differently, with different species, to the ones that those schools are doing. So. Don't worry if you've maybe taken part in it before, you should hopefully be learning about new species. And even if you ended up having done it last year, I don't know, did anyone do the Seakeepers project last year that's on this call? I don't think so. Anyway, you'd be doing it with new students anyway. So the project is all about Ireland's marine biodiversity. So basically just our sea life, any seaweeds and animals that we can find around the Irish coast. And we developed it in 2019, and the aim was basically to inspire children and teachers to kind of have a sense of curiosity and wonder about the wildlife that we can find around the Irish coast. Because I suppose sometimes when you think about marine life, you might think more about kind of coral reefs, or, I don't know, giant whales. Well, we do have giant whales, but, kind of tropical species, and might not be aware of the sea life that we have on our doorstep here in Ireland. And I suppose the thinking behind it as well was that if people don't really know anything about the wildlife that we have around our coast, um, then what is your motivation to kind of protect the ocean and to take action to reduce our impact on marine life? So your schools would have all completed the Global Citizenship Marine Environment theme. And in that theme, we focus a lot on trying to reduce single-use plastics and marine litter. And there's obviously a lot of issues affecting the ocean, like marine litter or climate change or overfishing. And those can all be quite heavy topics to deal with. So through this project, we aim to just really encourage people just to, yeah, enjoy the ocean, to have that sense of wonder about it, that curiosity about learning a bit more about it. So hopefully you guys will all do that during the year and will enjoy it. So how does it work then? So I suppose kind of the crux of the project is basically that you complete a survey so that we have an idea of what your students already know about these species that they're going to be learning about. You send those survey results in to us, and then we will send you teaching resources about six different marine plants and animals that you can find around the Irish coast. And you, the teachers, will then deliver that material to your classes throughout the year. And then we'll repeat that survey at the end of the year to see how much the students have learned. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. To go into it in a little bit more detail, um, so you choose what classes you want to participate in the project. I mean, if you want every class in the school to take part in it, they can. I would say that our resources are kind of geared. We've got two separate sets of resources. One is our kind of junior resources, which are loosely aimed kind of somewhere between senior infants and second class. And then our other set of resources is aimed kind of at third, fourth class. But like there's a lot of new information in it. So it would definitely be adaptable to older classes as well. Um, so I suppose we would ask that you complete the project with at least two classes in the school. Um, but if you want to do it with more, then that's great. So from the participating classes, the teacher needs to select 10 students at random to complete the species identification survey, and I'll show you that now in a minute. It's basically where the students see photographs of the six species that they're going to be learning about, and they have to try and name them. Now, we don't really expect them to be able to name them at all. That's no problem. It's just to get a kind of baseline idea of what the level of knowledge is. Um, so the students should complete the survey on their own without any help from the teacher or without any help from their friends. It's no problem if they get most or all of the answers wrong. Then once those 10 students from your class have completed that survey, yourself, the teacher will collect all the answers in a data collection sheet, which is basically just a spreadsheet, which I'll show to you now in a minute. And you're going to return that to us at marine@greenschoolsireland.org. Then we will send you out a link to the teaching resources about these six marine species. And as I said, the resources are loosely pitched at kind of junior and middle classes, but they're adaptable. Then the teacher delivers the lessons throughout the year, and then the same 10 students have to repeat that survey after they've been taught the lessons, basically. So that's usually kind of maybe in April or early May that you'd repeat the survey, and we'll have a deadline in early May for that repeat survey to be sent in. So this is what the species identification survey looks like. Just a very simple printable sheet. There's a good chance you don't know the name of any of those species there yourself. And as I said, it's absolutely no problem. The whole aim of this project is to learn. It's to learn about them. So you're not expected to know anything. One thing that we do try and ask is that you ask the students to try and be as specific as they can about the names of the species. So, for example, if they see a picture of a bird, they might say, "Oh, they might say that's a seagull," or they might even be able to say, "Oh, that's a great blackback seagull," or "That's a herring gull," or something like that. Again, it's unlikely that they will be able to give any level of detail about what it is. They might just be able to say it's a bird. They might be able to say it's a seagull. I haven't named that bird actually there in the survey, so I'm not giving anything away. But yeah, it's just so that we're hoping that by the end of the project, they will be able to name that specific species rather than giving it a vague name. So when they complete the species identification survey, then you will just type up their answers into this spreadsheet. So you can see there's space there to put in the school name, address, contact details, there at the top left. And then underneath, we've got where you'll write in the students' names, or if you don't want to share their names, that's fine. You can just put in some kind of a number or identifier that you will know which students, which students took the survey so that the same ones can repeat it later in the year. And then you'll write in their answers there. So for example, here in photo one, they all said this was a dolphin. That was kind of as specific as they could get, fair enough. Lots of different answers then for some of the other ones. You can see for the jellyfish here, some of them have said, "I don't know." That's absolutely fine. If they don't know, you can just type in "don't know." Fish, most of them have said fish. One of them has said salmon. So that is the kind of answer we'd be looking for. That isn't a salmon, but that's kind of what we'd be looking for there. Again, yeah, not expecting any right answers. So then once you send in the data collection sheet to me, we will send you out the resources. So there's going to be 6 different species that you'll be learning about. So there'll be some animals and some seaweeds. For each species, you'll receive a presentation about that species. So that'll be going through, what kind of a, let's say, animal is this? What does it eat? Where is it found? Where does it live? What are the threats to this animal? Any cool facts about it? Um, and the format for these presentations is PowerPoint for the older student presentations. And then for the younger, the kind of junior end of it, it's a software called Prezi. But you don't need to have that software downloaded or anything like that. And it's just a little bit more visual and it kind of works by zooming in on the different facts. And it's just maybe a little bit more engaging for the younger students. Um, they're all learning about the same animals. It's just that the younger students are getting a simplified version. As well as the presentation, there'll be an information sheet for teachers, which just gives background information about that animal, so you can have a read through that before you're given the presentation. There'll be a student fact sheet for the older students. Again, that's just very simplistic, just kind of the main facts that they can print out and keep. And then there'll be some activity worksheets and links to experiments or art activities that you might like to do in class as well. So there's just an example there of a jellyfish word search, for example. So that's basically the overview of the project. That's really kind of the main elements of it. Survey, teach the lessons, and then do the survey again. And again, we really just want you to enjoy it. But I'm just going to talk about the 7 steps now, and how Seakeepers can kind of link into the 7 steps. So as Claire mentioned, your Green Schools Committee are going to be called your Green Schools Project Managers for this project. And it's all going to be very similar to previous themes. But for example, you could assign the committee members as maybe Seakeepers ambassadors, and they could be in charge of educating the rest of the school about the species that they're learning about. So as I said, you might not have every class in the school carrying out the project. But the ones that are carrying it out, and particularly the committee members, can educate some of the other students about it. So particularly older students might go in and give a presentation to younger students about the species they've learned about, or you could have facts about the different species maybe announced over the intercom, or you could have project displays. For the environmental review, really all that we need from you is the species identification survey from the 10 students for the participating classes. So yeah, if you've got 2 classes taking part, then it'll be 20 students that you're surveying. And the data collection sheet. And we'll be sending those out to you in the next couple of weeks. We're just finalising some parts of the project resources, and then we'll send those out to you as soon as possible. So Claire mentioned your mini action plan. So these are just a few ideas of kind of extra things that you could do if you wanted to. You could pick one of the species and carry out a more in-depth project on it and make a project display. Maybe different classes could do projects on different species and have a whole school action day if you wanted to. You could also have a look at what are the threats facing these species. Maybe pick an action that you could do in school to help protect the species. So, I mean, there are specific threats impacting all these different species, but I suppose they're all kind of going to be impacted by things like plastic pollution and climate change. So, you could do something like cutting down on single-use plastic bottles in school, or maybe trying to get rid of straws or something like that. You could also screen a documentary about Ireland's marine life. So there's lots of great programs on RTE Player, for example, that you could check out. And you could hold a whole school action day. And one idea would be to do this during Marine Week, which I'll talk about again in a minute now. The next step is monitoring and evaluation. So for that, you're just repeating your species identification survey with the same students again in the springtime, and we'll be in touch with you throughout the year about this, and just making sure that you're up to date and that you know when you have to get everything in. For your informing and involving then, as I said, you could just be working on educating the whole school community about Ireland's marine life. So maybe having project displays, maybe having facts up on your Green Schools notice board. You could do an art activity. You can see in this image here, they did some lovely paper sea bass. Um, and then, yeah, you could maybe host an action day and invite parents or members of the community in to see your Seakeepers project displays. So every year we run Marine Week, which is an online celebration of the ocean, and we have loads of new resources released every day during Marine Week. So we'll have different videos about different species, not necessarily the seakeepers ones, but other species that you can find in the oceans around the world. We will have online webinars from different experts who know about different species or different aspects of the ocean. So we might have people who are sports people in water sports, or we might have someone maybe from the Irish Seal Sanctuary, the Irish Whale and Dolphin Group. But it's a really nice week to get involved in. It's all online and it's all free. But it'd be a nice opportunity to maybe run your own action day during Marine Week as well. So that's going to be held between the 31st of March and the 4th of April 2025. So for your curriculum work, as Claire said, like it's going to be very pared back what we require from you in terms of your reporting. And as she said, you don't need to submit your application form until 2026. If you're just getting started now, I know there's some schools have come from Primary Climate Ambassador and they will be submitting an application. So can you link your Seakeepers work to any of your school subjects? So as I mentioned, we have activity sheets and worksheets to go along with the different species. Here's an example of a multiplication sheet. So, I mean, something as straightforward as that, that could be one of your curriculum links there. And then your green code or your project slogan. So coming up with your green code to just show your commitment to protecting marine life, or your interest in the animals that you learned about as well. But it's very, very flexible and very open to yourselves. When do we start? So as I said, we're just finalising a few bits at the minute, and then we will send you out your species identification survey and the data collection sheet and all the information that you'll need in the next couple of weeks. And then kind of additional supports and things throughout the year. So we will be sending out a few goodies later in the year. So we have these nice Seakeepers badges that we'll be sending out. We'll be sending out a book for your committee, just about different marine life as well. We're hoping to hold some online and maybe even in-person events. So we might be contacting a few schools to see if we can maybe run an online workshop, or maybe even a workshop in your area later in the year. But it'll all be sent out to you in an email if we do have the capacity to offer that in your area. You're also very welcome to take part in our marine competitions that are open to schools that have already achieved their marine flag. So at the minute, we have our marine spatial planning poster competition is open. So that's just another side activity that you might like to take part in for a bit of fun. There's some lovely prizes for that, and that's open until the 22nd of November. And then I mentioned Marine Week already, so you might want to put that date in your diary, 31st of March until 4th of April. I just have a quick video here, which is of the Seakeepers project winners from a few years ago. So usually schools on the marine team that are taking part in the Seakeepers project, they're entered into a draw to win a free beach exploration workshop on completion of the project. So I'll just kind of show you this just to give you an overview of kind of the feel of the project. 2 seconds there.
We've been involved with the Green Schools for a lot of years. We've been doing it for about 16 years, so we've recently received our 8th green flag for global citizenship to marine environments. To see children exploring, to see them looking, to see them picking up things, pointing things out to each other, just enjoying the whole sensory experience. I mean, we have an amazing country and a wonderful seashore, and I think we owe it to them to give them as much of a hands-on experience as we can. They really love it, and it helps them nurture it and helps them protect it and have compassion for the creatures that live here and use it as their home. The Seakeepers programme is the reason we're here, and that gave them a foundation of understanding about 6 different species that are part of the programme and species that are very much here are near the seashore. So I mean, that gave them the foundation, but to actually come here today and see it in a hands-on way with the wonderful Green Schools officers who are helping with them was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think they've made a memory for life. I see these children coming back in future years with family members saying, can we go to Tremor someday? You know, having a great time. And really, children do remember days like this. They remember it for years.
Okay, so that's just to kind of give you a little feel of the project. Now, obviously, I know we're not all near the beach and we won't be able to bring everybody to the beach, but hopefully learning about the species will really be interesting and eye-opening for you. So that is basically that about the project. If you've got any questions at all, I'm going to close out of the slideshow now and you'll be able to ask me any questions. We have a few minutes left. If anything occurs to you afterwards or throughout the year, you can drop us an email at marine@greenschoolsireland.org and we will get back to you as soon as we can. And that's us. We're the marine team. So that's me and Chloe and Friederike. So yeah, we will get back to you as soon as we can. So I'll stop sharing this now.